Hello, everybody. Chefie, back at you again. And I've already got my handy dandy water because I know I'm going to be doing a lot of talking today. This video that I'm about to make is pretty personal. Um, so if you don't like those kind of videos and stuff like that, you can go ahead and watch any of my other videos or go watch, somebody else like Boogie or I can't think of anybody else right now. But go watch something funny because this one's not funny. Um, So today's video is going to be about uh, drug abuse and how it affects the people around you. Um, Now, my definition of drugs is anything that can hinder your ability to think properly or process things properly. So that's, marijuana, uh, alcohol, pills, meth, anything that you can think of like that that can hinder your ability to think properly. Obviously, some people need drugs to help them, like antidepressants and stuff like that. But, everybody knows there's a difference between a drug that can help you and a drug that can hinder you. So now that being said, I'm not perfect. I have drank in my day, but, I have and before I get too started, I just want to say this is not to bash anybody in my family, and this is probably going to embarrass some people in my family. But I'm not bashing anybody. I love everybody in my family. But anyways, like I said, I'm not perfect. I have drank in my day. But just like my father and my brother before me, um, you know, we do have that addictive personality. So for my family's sake, my daughter and my wife's sake, I don't drink anymore. Every once in a while, like if I'm out eating and my wife is driving, I will have maybe a drink or two. Other than that, I will not drink. I refuse to now because for a time there, for a couple months, I would go out drinking like every single night, and it affected my body in the way that I thought very badly, very poorly. I had fun doing it. Not to say it's not fun, but I'm not recommending doing it. Don't do it, especially if you don't have a designated driver, because you will die. It's just a matter of time. You will die. There's no, you might die, you might live, you will die. If you drink and drive, you will die eventually. Now, this video is about how uh, drugs and the sort affect your family, not so much you personally, because honestly, I don't give a crap how it affects you. You made the choice to do the drugs. The people in your family did not. Okay, so uh, you know, again, I love my dad. Right, whenever he was alive, I loved him, and I would do anything for him. But he was addicted to drugs. You know, And like I said, before I get too far started, I'm extremely sorry if this offends anybody. But this part of the video is to show my appreciation for what he did for me and my brother and my mom and everybody. Um, as far as I know, I might not know the whole story, but as far as I've seen about my father, this is the good things that he has done for me. Now, there are other people in my family. I'm not going to mention any names because I don't want to embarrass them like that. Uh, but I will say what they have done. Okay, so he was in and out of jail. He was addicted to drugs. He would steal from people. All the symptoms of drugs. I don't blame him as a person for doing it. Later on in life, because by then the drugs have taken over, and drugs are pretty much like a demon that lives inside of you, and they take over your body. Pretty much, uh, you know, he did the best thing for me and my brother and my mom by distancing himself from us. He made sure he stayed away from us as much as possible, whether that was going to jail or not talking to us. Maybe he tried to, maybe I just don't know about it. And I hated him for a long time for not talking to us, but after he passed away, I realized why he didn't come around. And my mom and my grandmother and everybody around me told me why he didn't come around. Those demons inside of him were too strong, and it made it where he could not get rid of the drugs. They were too embedded in his brain to not take them anymore. He would be in too much pain, not physical, but too much mental pain to be without. Eventually, just like alcohol and driving, drugs will kill you, and that was what killed him. It causes diseases, it causes, crippling pain if you're not taking them. Um, all kinds of stuff happens. But like I said, he made the initial choice to take them. So those are all of his decisions in the long run. But at the end of his days, him stealing stuff and all that good stuff, I don't blame him for that uh, because he was under the influence. Um, so the main point of me telling you about him is to, if you are addicted to drugs, like I said, I don't give a crap what happens to you, honestly. But if you are addicted to drugs, please, especially if you have kids, and if you have like a brother, sister, uh, nieces, nephews, parents, all that good stuff that don't do drugs, don't go to them. I'm telling you, just stay away, seriously, because you can go to rehab, you can go to jail, you can uh, go to church, you can do anything that you want to, but eventually you're going to go back to drugs if you've been doing it for a long time. Granted, now what I'm saying here is there might be hope for people if you are just starting out. If you have been doing drugs for maybe a year, there might be hope for you. If you have been doing drugs for a year, I'm looking you dead in the eye right now. Please, for yourself, stop. Because there are so many diseases that you can get just from shooting up one time. You can get hepatitis C, you can get AIDS, you can get, all kinds of stuff that can ruin your life. That can kill your kidneys, that can kill your liver, it's not you can die instantly from an overdose. But the worst thing that can happen is it lingers. Hepatitis C will be part of you forever. You cannot, if you're a woman, you cannot shave your legs and leave your razors out on the counter. You have to bleach the sink. Or if you have kids, beforehand, before you have Hep C, and you leave your razor out, and kids are curious. Oh, my dog's chewing on something. But kids are curious. They might try to shave themselves, and lo and behold, they have hepatitis C. Or they get in the bathtub after you shave, and you cut yourself, and there's a little bit of blood on the uh, in the sink. I mean, in the tub. They have hepatitis C. Your kid has hepatitis C because of you, and because of the choices that you have made in life. Like I said, this is not towards anybody in my family. Your choices have been made. You know who you are, and I don't have to tell you. Now, you know, that's just like scratching the surface. Whenever you do drugs, it doesn't affect just you, it affects your family. Because, first of all, again, just scratching the surface of things. Um, Hold on. Evie. Sorry, my dog was chewing on something again. Um, but what I was saying was, you're probably going to end up stealing from them because you need to get that high again, or just because you want money, and drugs make you extremely greedy, what I've seen. So you will steal from your family. You'll straight up steal from like their pocketbook or whatever. You will steal from family, friends, neighbors, whatever. You will steal from whoever you can to get that fix. Now, uh, that's petty stuff. You'll go to jail. Whatever. You know, this is me talking through you. Whatever. It doesn't really affect you. You're just going to jail. You don't have to work for a year or 2 years, however long you're in jail. You don't have to really work if you don't want to. You just sit in your bed. You do whatever. You're just stuck in a cell. You're not paying for anything. Not whenever you get out, you will be. But granted, while you're in jail, you're not paying for anything. You're not, you're getting free meals. Yeah, they're crappy, but you get free meals. You get free health care. I wish I had free health care. I have to pay for mine, and I barely make enough to pay all my bills and stuff. But no, prisoners get free health care, so that's cool. Um, they steal from us, but they get free health care. Whatever. Um, but anyways, I'm not trying to rant about the government either. Uh, but you know, you don't have to really do anything. It just all falls in your lap while you're in jail. Yeah, it's a terrible place to be. Terrible things can happen in there, but you put yourself there. You know. Um, but what it does to your family on the outside is way worse than what you're going through on the inside. The emotional trauma that you put yourself through, or put us through, is a lot worse than what you're going through. I have pretty much come to terms with a certain person in my family. Was a very good person, and I'm not putting gender roles on it either. This person was a very, reputable person in society. Uh, you know, had jobs for a while, stuff like that. In school, may not have made the best grades, but he made good grades. They were extremely positive. I mean, extremely uh, popular and stuff like that. Um, Still to this day, you know, I get asked if I'm the little brother, you know. So used to that was cool for me to be called the little brother, you know. Nowadays it's a title of shame because like I said, I'm not trying to make this about anybody in my family, but this is how it affects us. This is legitimately how drugs affect your family. This is coming from a child of drugs to another person in your family going through drugs just like your father has gone through drugs, and it is very depressing for the person that is doing the drugs and for the person that's not doing the drugs. This is coming from the youngest brother of two siblings, and you know, just seeing other people in your family going through it, it's just horrible, you know. Um, but anyways, like I said, the anguish that you have put us through, and the people that have done this know who they are. I don't have to tag anybody or say any names or anything. Um, and I don't care if anybody hates me for this. This is just, how I feel about it. Check the time. Okay. Uh, so let me get my dog. Anyways, so I have come through my mind how I process things is kind of strange. Uh, these people going in and out of jail makes me wonder whether or not I'd rather have, and this is very morbid to think about, but it's a very legitimate question in my mind. I don't know whether or not I'd rather have this person die young, like 30 or 40, and be a wonderful person in society, or to, lose this person to drugs multiple times, and this person, used to be a good person in society, but then started doing drugs again, go to jail, come back, you think they are changed, you think they are a wonderful person again, and then you lose them again. So it's pretty much like them dying multiple times. So I honestly do not know which one would be worse, losing somebody, and I have lost very close people to me uh, that were young and they were good people, and they didn't deserve to die the way that they did. There's a couple of people that come to mind whenever I say this, but the other people that are just doing drugs and putting themselves in jail or whatever, you know, I don't know which one is worse, honestly, because it causes similar heartbreak. Um, so yeah, uh, drugs are a terrible thing. Just keep that in mind. If you are doing drugs, just at least keep the humanity that you have in the back of your mind, and tell yourself to distance yourself from your family as much as possible. There's no real changing after the 2 year mark. There's no real changing, no going back. Your brain is already fried. You don't have the memory that you used to. You do not have the same capacity to have that compassion that you used to have. You're not the same person anymore. People change in life in general, but you are not the same person. You're a totally different person um, whenever you do drugs. And even whenever you come off of drugs, whenever you go straight. And the bad part is, your family will try to take you back, and they will bring you back into their lives. They will do for you again, and do for you, and do for you, and do for you, and you'll take advantage of them again. So please, this is coming from a person that has been through it. If you do drugs, this is a personal message to other people that have done drugs. If you have done drugs or do drugs currently, and you have been doing them for more than years, and you or more than a year, and you know that you cannot fight these addictions, please just distance yourself from your family as much as possible and your friends. Because, the worst thing to do in life is to lose the trust of your friends and your family and everything like that. So if you don't have that, if you don't break the trust, you still have the trust. If you just get away from everybody while you're going through this and just deal with it by yourself, this is bad to say because your family is supposed to help you through everything, but we can't help you through this. This is a personal thing that you did to yourself, and you should not have your family go through this. You know, it's one thing to hear about, somebody ODing on drugs, and oh, we knew it was happening because we knew that he was on drugs. Compared to seeing that person every single day dwindling themselves down to nothing, and then hearing that they pretty much committed suicide by ODing or having these diseases and stuff. Um, it's a lot worse. Being able to say, well, that person was a crappy person, but I do forgive them for what they have done to me. Uh, Too bad they died so quickly. That's one thing. But seeing you go downhill so slowly is 1,000 times worse than watching you just being gone, just like that, just instantly gone. Um, it's just so much worse. Uh, Seeing you, have these swords, have these, mixed personalities, um, all kinds of stuff. Seeing you wild-eyed, seeing all the all the things that make you look like a drug addict make it terrible for us. Um, and I know this is sounding extremely selfish, but this is true. This is the truth of the matter. You are a different person, and we don't want to be around you, but we love you, so we do want to be around you at the same time. But it just is heartbreaking every time we see you. And if you have kids, please, this is the reason why I love my dad. If he was around, I would have probably resented him because he probably, I don't know how he was, honestly, because I never really was around him. But for instance, he may have beat me and my brother, or we could have came in and saw him doing drugs, or, you know, could have got my mom addicted to drugs or something like that. And, I would have resented him more for that than to stay away from us and protect us from seeing that. I didn't know really about drugs until I was, in my later teen years. I mean, I've never seen crack. I've never seen, anything like that. I didn't know what Roxy's were until I was working. I was in the workforce. So I was out of high school. I didn't know what any of that crap was. Most, the only kind of drug that I really knew about in high school was marijuana, but that's because that's on, TV all the time, you hear about it and stuff like that. Um, so I was very sheltered from that, which is a blessing. I appreciate everybody in my family, including my dad, for keeping me away from it. And I'm sure my mom had a part of keeping him away and maybe talking him out of coming and seeing us all the time. Um, Excuse me, kind of hiccup there. But from seeing us all the time, but still, I appreciate what he did. I know it was heartbreaking not being able to see his boys grow up. Um, so yeah, I couldn't imagine not being able to see my daughter. I could not imagine not being able to go and see my daughter every day, being able to kiss my daughter every single day. So I know the heartbreak that he went through was real. Um, so don't put yourself through that. Don't have kids if you're you know, an alcoholic, addicted to drugs, um, you know, anything like that. Just keep them. Don't have kids first of all. If you're a guy, go get, uh, go get. I can't think of the word. If you're a guy or a girl, go get fixed. Honestly, if you want to have sex while you're high and chance the risk of you getting pregnant, on top of having a uh, hepatitis C baby or having a baby that's addicted to something or having a baby with Down syndrome because of what you have done, just go get fixed. Don't, I mean, go get your tubes tied, go get, all that good stuff. Um, don't risk it. Don't risk bringing a child in this world that you're just going to get rid of anyways. Um, or it's going to get taken away from you because of your lifestyle. Don't risk that. Don't put your kids through that. Um, Kids, by the way, are a lot smarter than you think they are. They do see what's going on. They will recognize what is going on, and they will resent you for keeping them around and knowing that you are doing drugs around them later on in life. So don't have kids that will resent you either. Keep them away from you, and they will love you forever. Um, Eventually, at this time, whenever they hit 13, 14, and they're asking where their mommy or daddy is, yeah, they're gonna hate you. But later on in life, whenever their mom, dad, whoever finally is like, son, daughter, she stayed away from you or he stayed away from you because he was addicted to drugs or she was addicted to drugs and they could not control that. And hopefully your kids will be like me and understand why. And this being said, someone in my family said that they are a victim of, or what did they say? Oh, they are a result of their upbringing. Now, me and that person were brought up together. Uh, that person was a little bit older than me, but still, we were brought up in the same kind of environment. And here I am. I'm not perfect, but I don't blame my imperfections on my mom or dad. These imperfections are me. They make me who I am, but I don't blame my dad for me going out and drinking. That was my choice. I was in a very dark place at that time, and I decided to go drink. I don't blame my dad for that at all. If I went out and started doing crack or something, I would not blame that on my dad. I'd blame it on me and me being stupid. Um, so you are not a victim of your upbringing. You can change that. You can change what is going on by doing good in school, or if you know what your career is, like me in high school, I knew I didn't need algebra. And I'm not telling you to drop out. Don't drop out. But I did. I dropped out and I went to and I got my GED and then I went to culinary school and I became a chef. I knew I didn't need all that other crap. I just needed what they taught me in culinary school. Um, and I have a decent job right now. So you know, saying that you're a victim of what your parents have done is just a way to get out, just an excuse. And that's one thing about people that do drugs. They will blame everybody else. And I blame people for stuff that I do. I'm not perfect in this aspect, but anything that is wrong in their life, they will blame it on somebody else. They will not blame it on themselves. I had this person live with me, and he threw all of his crap, you know, out of my house, and he wanted me to pay for it. He wanted me to pay for what he threw out, saying that I owe him $300, but he didn't pay me rent. I didn't expect him to, but he didn't pay me rent. He didn't pay me anything due to drugs, plain and simple. So if you want to take the easy way out and do drugs, and end up dying sooner than later, as people say, live fast or die trying, you go ahead and do that. Don't drag your family down. Don't drag your friends down. Don't drag anybody else down but yourself. You know, don't blame it on other people because it wasn't their fault. It wasn't my dad's fault that I went out drinking. It was my fault. Plain and simple. It was my fault. Luckily I didn't get hurt doing it, and that's why I stopped because I realized the dangers of it. Um, I shouldn't have had to do that. I have learned from other people's mistakes. So I thought that now thinking back, I'm like, why didn't I just listen to the things that have happened to other people's past and learn from that in that regards? But people make their own decisions sometimes, and don't live from other people's mistakes. But as far as drugs and alcohol now, excuse me, I have learned from other people. I have learned a great deal from my dad. And again, this is why I love him. He stayed away from us as much as possible while he was addicted. He did come around every once in a while, and he did visit with me once whenever I was older, and that was a great time. He was straight, he was good, and I love seeing him. Me and him had a great time, and that will always be my fondest memory of him. Um, but you know, he stayed away from us as much as possible while he was addicted, and uh, he knew when he was straight and whenever he wasn't, and he came and saw us whenever he was. And, he gave me a lot of things to learn and live by, or learn from and live through, should I say. Um, because of him, I have, never even thought about doing pills. I have never once thought about doing crack or anything like that. I don't know what drugs he did. For all I know, he may have just been alcoholic, but I don't know, honestly. Um, but, you know, I lived through him. I don't have to make those mistakes. He already made them for me, and he paved the road for me to have a better life. So to my mom and her side of the family, and there are good parts of my dad's side. Don't get me wrong; they are good people too. But I was mostly brought up with my mom's side of the family. They taught me the morals and stuff that I needed to get through life. But he taught me, what not to do. And I love him for that, and I always will. He made me a better person by living the life that he did. And that's exactly what being a parent is about, making sure your kids do better than you did in life. And that's what he did. He taught me that. He taught me that when Juliet gets older, I'm going to make sure that she has nicer things than I had. You know, um, she's going to have, better clothes than I had. Not saying I had bad clothes because my mom and grandma made sure I was clothed. But, me and my wife are together, so, we both have that income. So my mom was a hairdresser. There wasn't much income for her. So luckily she did have the parents that she did, and they helped her out. But my mom didn't have much income. She had enough money to, like, pay the bills and pay the rent, and she still did for us, you know. She still made sure that me and my brother had a good life. So, don't disrespect your parents by, if they did drugs, not living by it. If they didn't do drugs, by doing drugs yourself. Because that is just a slap to the face of your mom or your dad. Not living and learning through their mistakes. Um, you know, that's just, you might as well just go up to your mom and dad if you start doing drugs and slap them in the face because that's what you're doing to them anyways. It'll sting a lot less though, uh, in the long run. So, yeah. Uh, like I said, I love everybody in my family. Granted, the people that are making bad decisions right now, they're not going to be around my daughter or my wife anytime soon. Anytime soon. I'm going to tell them. I'm going to say, if they're not listening to this already, if you are listening to this, you made the decisions to do the bad things in your life. And until I see different, and I probably won't, because, in my experiences thus far, people don't change after they start doing drugs except for the worst. Um, Not saying it's not possible, but not saying it is. Anything's possible. But I'm going to make sure my daughter isn't exposed to any of that stuff whatsoever, if I can help it. if I can keep the dangers away from my daughter and keep those certain people away from my daughter, then I am. Um, so, uh, I mean, there's no excuse for you to bring your family down with you. And if you are, you're just a crappy person um, and doing drugs. So, this video is a 30-minute video, but I hope you guys watched all the way through it. I'm sorry, it was kind of like a, kind of a ranty kind of thing, but it just, I feel 1,000 times better now that I said it all, honestly. And after this gets put online, I'm going to feel even better about it. Because if this can change at least one person's life, either not to do drugs or, to stay away from their family while they're doing drugs, um, it makes me feel better. Um, Even if it doesn't change you, as long as you've got the message out of it, at least I did something. That's all I want. That's all anybody wants. They want to at least die knowing that they had a little part in changing someone else's life. I'm not saying I'm dying anytime soon. I hope not. But just saying, if this has changed anybody's outlook on life, I'm a happy person. Um, so yeah. Uh, I don't think I have anything else to say. If I do, I will leave like a respawn video or something uh, going on about something else, maybe. Um, Again, if anybody in my family is watching this, and I know my dad is listening to this um, somewhere up there, uh, first of all, I want to say thank you to all my family for raising a good man that I am today. And I want to say thank you to my dad for, you know, if you want to call it, making me a result of a bad environment. He made me a better person by doing that stuff. And again, please, if you take anything from this, please learn from other people's mistakes. You don't have to make those mistakes if you just learn from them. Um, and I mean, everybody's going to make mistakes in life, but if you can avoid the big ones by, you know, watching other people's lives, it will make yours much better, much easier. Um, but yeah, I love everybody in my family. Even if I haven't seen you in a long time, even if I see you daily, I love you guys. Um, and everybody out there, Oh yeah, and one last thing to everybody that has made those bad decisions out there that have affected me. Personally, I do forgive you and I do love you, but I cannot have you around me because I do not want you to drag me down again. I do not want to go through that depression again. I do not want to go through those dark times again because of you. And I hope you guys can understand and appreciate why I say this. And it's not to hurt you because, I will see you. I will be around you for short periods of time, but I'm not going to be able to trust you. I'm not going to be able to, bring you into my house because I'm going to be afraid that you're going to steal something again. Um, I just can't have that trust again, and I can't trust you alone or, out in public with my family. So I have to protect my daughter. And if you have kids, you understand what I'm talking about. And if you don't understand, you need to go ahead and give up your kids to somebody in your family because you'll never be a good enough parent, in my opinion. Um, but anyways, that part wasn't towards anybody in my family. But anyways, like I said, I love everybody in my family, and I love everybody out there in the internet world. Even if you don't love me, I love you guys. And as always, stay beautiful, stay healthy, and have a good night. I love you guys.